In today's video, we'll be taking a look at some of the moments in which SJWs thought their arguments were actually good, with emphasis on the word thought. With that said, grab a drink and let's get straight into the video. Number 1. The debate on how many genders exist has been highly controversial amongst Americans. Scientifically speaking, there's only 2. This SJW thinks differently. Not only do the words that come out of her mouth not make sense, but she has no clue what she's talking about.
Like gravity becomes less true.
That is a basic building
Newton's
block
third
that
law
children
becomes less
learn
true.
In order to understand the concept of gender, when you break it down into actual
Gender and
experiments when it
sex
comes
are
to
directly
chromosome and sex, it breaks down into hundreds of different categories that actually differentiate between just 2 genders. What you're saying is there are facts and you don't believe in there being opinions.
Yes, I am
and
saying that there are facts.
This is a scientific fact that if you talk to any biologist, you will learn.
So in biology, they teach you that there's XX and XY chromosomes. So give me a number of how many.
As you can see, she has a whole gang of other SJWs behind her, all of which are presenting a blank argument, saying that there are more than 2 genders while saying they learned otherwise in middle school.
Like gravity becomes less true.
That is a basic building
Newton's
block
third
that
law
children
becomes less
learn
true.
In order to understand the concept of gender, when you break it down into actual
Gender and
experiments when it
sex
comes
are
to
directly
chromosome and sex, it breaks down into hundreds of different categories that actually differentiate between just 2 genders. What you're saying is there are facts and you don't believe in there being opinions.
Yes, I am
and
saying that there are facts.
This is a scientific fact that if you talk to any biologist, you will learn.
So in biology, they teach you that there's XX and XY chromosomes. So give me a number of how many genders.
Number 2. Simplicity is elegant, and that idea applies to this clip in which a woman is seemingly writing her own constitution. She talks about how the Constitution is racist, when it appears that she hasn't even read it.
The Constitution's the best document in political history.
Greatest political document ever
There
written.
you go.
Thank you.
I want to know, how is it possible to believe that when it's based on racist principles? They describe indigenous peoples as merciless Indian savages. They don't describe African Americans as full people, and they don't even recognize other people of color and other minorities that we see today. So I just want to...
As she finishes asking her question and the panelist answers, she fumbles to find some sort of comeback that won't dig her deeper into the hole she's dug herself. Lesson be learned, always read the documents you're citing as evidence.
I know how you think it's possible to believe that's such a great document we're
Thank
founded
you for the
upon.
question. Where does it say that in the document? No, keeper. Where does it say that in the document?
I'm sorry, what?
Where does it say what you said in the actual document?
I'm sorry. I'm not entirely sure,
It
but...
doesn't.
No, it...
Instead, you know...
Number 3. Here we have yet another SJW who doesn't provide good reasoning as to why they think gender is malleable. Much like many other SJWs, this one doesn't provide good evidence to support their conclusion.
How do you say that some people don't have privilege when you basically just said that trans people aren't valid? They're not a thing. They're just girls pretending to be boys or boys pretending to be girls.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, someone's excited. Okay.
It's biological, but gender is a completely different thing.
No, gender is not disconnected from sex. So.
It's not completely disconnected, but it's still a cultural thing. It's still from society. It's
Okay. No, it is not in the mind. Okay, you're not a man if you think you're a man. And I didn't say pretending, or if I did, I shouldn't have said pretending. Let me amend.
said playing.
Okay, I said a boy who.
Pretending is a strong yet fitting adjective for the idea of transgender people. Shapiro hits the head on the hammer and destroys another SJW who thought they could change his point of view.
The girl. That's the usual phraseology I use. Not playing. I usually say a boy who thinks he's a girl or a girl who thinks he's a boy, which is technically what we're talking about here. The idea that sex or gender are malleable is not true. Okay, and I'm not denying your humanity if you're a transgender person. I am saying that you are not the sex to which you claim to be. But if you are going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. My answer is no. I'm not going to modify.
Number 4. This guy decided to wear an ice hat to a public place and was immediately attacked by some stuck-up SJW who doesn't know that ICE doesn't only deal with immigration.
Let's talk about ICE. Let's talk. Sure. What about ICE don't you like?
A violent organization
not violent.
Yes, they're violent. How?
I'll tell you why I like ICE. They're the #1 agency that goes. #1. They arrest tens of thousands of every single year. They also go after MS-13. They also go after terrorists that are here in the country domestically. ICE was formed after 9/11 to go after international threats that are here domestically. That's why they're called Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. They get such a bad rap.
Attacking someone for wearing a hat is not only extremely discriminatory, but if you're going to do it, you might want to know what the organization on the hat actually does instead of going off of tabloids.
And you actually meet with the agents and you see what they do every single day. It's pretty extraordinary work. Now, they do go after people that have visa overstays. It has nothing to do with race. An illegal immigrant is not a race. Most of the visa overstays are people from Hungary or from Indonesia or from Japan. If you are here illegally, you should not be here despite your race. The immigration debate is demagogued by politicians by being a racial issue. It has nothing to do with race and everything to do with the rule of law.
Number 5. It's easy to laugh at someone for making an argument you don't agree with. That's exactly what these panelists did when Ben Shapiro presented an argument. However, their facial expressions changed rather quickly.
Financial worth is 69 times more than that of black families. Given this disparity, how can you argue that racism is not a driving factor in income inequality?
Because it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. And when you have a culture that doesn't, you know what? Explain to me. You explain to me why black kids aren't graduating high school. Explain that one to me. Explain to me why black kids are shooting each other in rates significantly higher than whites are shooting each other.
The best part of this clip is after they got owned by saying nothing, they remained quiet because they knew that they couldn't argue with statistics and facts. Their faces went from laughing to trying to come up with a response.
Explain to me why 13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the murder. Explain to me why the number of black kids in prison, not for innocent reasons, not for walking down the street and getting pulled into a prison, is so high. Explain, if it has nothing to do with culture, explain to me why the single motherhood rate in the black community jumped from 20% to 70% in the same course of time that the civil rights movement has made such tremendous strides. Is America more racist now than it was in 1960? And if it is, please explain to me how that happened.
Seeing SJWs defend their loosely connected arguments is the stuff of dreams. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this video. Leave a like and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.